Okay, hello and welcome to the Chicago State University Gardner video series, during which we are highlighting Chicago State faculty members who participated in the Gardner Institute and its focus on high impact online teaching practices. And our guest today is Dr. Hafiz Faridi, and he is in the College of Pharmacy College at Chicago State University. And Dr. Faridi, we are so happy that you have agreed to participate. Welcome to the video series. And if you could share with our viewers a little bit about how long you've been at Chicago State and what exactly you teach here in the College of Pharmacy.
Thank you, Dr. Lynn. Pleasure to be here and to give me this opportunity. I'm an assistant professor in the College of Pharmacy, and I've been with Chicago State since 2017, July of 2017. And I'm really enjoying, my position and interaction with students. I'm also an adjunct faculty at the Rush University Medical Center, where I do part of my research, and that's pretty much about me.
Well, that's an awful lot. You bring a lot of expertise to our pharmacy students at Chicago State. So delighted to have you here today and appreciate your time. So you were one of the 30 or so faculty members that attended this Gardner Institute this summer that focused on high impact online teaching practices. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to participate in that particular program?
Yeah, sure. One of my focus was to, interact on an online platform. We've been traditionally doing this, in class, and being in sciences, I just wanted to have a feel of what other subjects like education, or something like history, how people interact, and what's a bigger classroom like. So just to learn more about, because we are going global, classroom is no more a room, it's more of a class zone, which can encompass the whole world now.
Yes.
Just to get a feel of it and to learn something new, I took this course, and it was a really a good thing for me.
Yes. So, and I know the pharmacy courses were not online prior to the pandemic. So you literally, like everybody else, but without any online classes being offered in the College of Pharmacy, you and your colleagues really had to turn on a dime to deal with the pandemic and the changes even this fall, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So this came at the right time, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The whole online thing, and I learned a lot, and we applied a lot. My other colleagues also from pharmacy attended this particular workshop that we with the Gardner Institute,
Mm-hmm.
and brought in a lot of expertise where we shared a lot of things which benefited the whole college, and we were comfortable doing it because we learned success stories from the Gardner Institute. We took tips, and we took the techniques from there, and we applied it. And so far, I think this semester was really that made my semester seamless.
Great. Well, looking forward to the specifics. But before we get to the specifics, can you tell us what were some of your big takeaways from that Gardner Institute? Some of the big things that you took away from that training?
So one of the great things that I learned was, usually we do our teaching in the classroom. We used to do our teaching in the classroom. And this semester, before beginning, I was a little worried about how to, make it more attractive for students. For example, the Moodle page itself, or how to attract students from a distance, that these are the components of the courses and this is how we'll proceed. So that without me being there, how, and students also, they are parents, they are busy, and they're with they get a chance to on online whenever they can. So basically designing my canvas, designing my Moodle in a way that whenever they open, the thing is ready for them to see that, okay, this is the flow of the course. This is how the course is going to begin. First of all, they went to syllabus. Designing my syllabus is one of the elements which I got a great help from the Gardner Institute, and how to, flow from one step to the other. We have like typically 4 exams in each of our courses, how we, place the various workshops and various, the classes and everything in sequence. So that was something which I was, before attending this Gardner Institute workshop, I was a little concerned about how I do that online, because usually in a class it's easy. but that gave me a real flow chart of how to do things, and I learned a lot.
Hmm. Very good, very good. So, which classes then did you apply some of these practices to this fall to make it such a seamless semester?
Yeah, so I actually teach from year P1 to P3, which is like pharmacy is a 4-year course, and typically P1 is the first year and P3 is the third year. So first year we usually teach the foundation courses like physiology, and pharmaceutical sciences, most of the sciences courses. So that's my P1 students, and then P2 we go more towards applied sciences like patient care, pharmacology, trying to identify the medications based on the symptoms. So that's more complex. I actually applied all these techniques which I learned from Gardner Institute in all my on my courses.
Great.
Yeah.
So, can you give us some examples? One of them was kind of reformatting your syllabus, it sounded like. What were some of the other practices that you were able to apply?
Yeah, it was a beginning for me, to think of ways how I can engage students from a distance into something more interactive. So this was something which I also did before, like joining the Gardner Institute. During my capstone, projects. So my capstone, every pharmacy student has to do a capstone project where, they do some kind of research. So after this laboratory research was kind of stuck in the middle because of COVID, I started doing educational research. And we published a poster in the Journal of Immunology of how we can use small videos, which are enriched with animations and questions in between to review some important topics. For example, schizophrenia or Parkinson's or pharmacology for drug in a short, like a engaging 8 minutes video, 8 to 10 minutes video. So we already published that in the Journal of Immunology, and that was something I also presented in the Gardner Institute presentations, to my group. So that also came handy, and then using that tool which we developed and the assessment part which I learned in the Gardner Institute, I incorporated that and developed a workshop for the P1 students, which are the year 1 students of pharmacy curriculum. And there it became, a really good workshop where me along with another, faculty, we conducted this, and students were able to understand the dynamics of a, like a neuronal cell, how the cell works. And they were able to see that, live real time. And I also took a feedback, which I have to actually do the analysis. So I'll have data soon of what's the likability of that. So that's going to be our next poster. So that's something which was really, went very nicely.
So can you describe some of the specifics of that P1 workshop? I assume you did it virtually. Were you doing it on Zoom? And how did you show them the cell live like that?
Yeah, so basically we used the PowerPoint tool to develop a short video. And these videos, a few of them were taken from open source, but the ones we made, our students actually made it. P3, P4 capstone students, they made it, and we kept that video. It was completely made by students using some software like PowerPoint. So there were animations of drug going and binding to the receptor, and then something going inside the cell, and how cell, fixes the problem. So that's a little video which my students make, like a few videos. So, and then we attached a link to that video. So the whole class can, watch that video at the same time as I'm on my, computer. So and that video has, narration in students' voice. Students made it, so everything was there. And then after the video completed in 8 minutes, we conducted a survey based on the questions and the information from the video. And the students really liked it. They were thrilled to, see that.
And how did you help them build capacity to make videos?
Sure. So this is something which initially looked like a mammoth task to students who are already
I bet.
Third to fourth year of their professional course. They were like, okay, how am I going to do this? So this actually is not very simple, but we made it simple, So I have these steps which are written down where we use the elements of the new PowerPoint where you can, pick up the images and try to make them move. So these cartoons made on the PowerPoint, and, there's a cell, the receptor, this goes and binds to there, then something else happens. So I showed them how to do that. Okay. So very simply in some steps, they are doing that. And this is an ongoing project. We are getting more videos as well. And we look forward that we'll have a database, at the College of Pharmacy website to show that, help other institutions also. So this will
Sure.
be available for other institutions to see that what our students are doing.
And is
So,
that common practice, or is that something unusual that Chicago State's College of Pharmacy is doing?
so this, up until now, the information websites have been common, but something related to video, that is something which will be unique from our College of Pharmacy. That's what I envision.
Yes.
Have enough good videos. We'll post a little, a website where people can go and actually see the videos.
Yes. Yes.
It should be unique for our college.
And which do you do a lot of real-time classes where you're using Zoom or GoToMeeting, or is a lot of your are a lot of your classes more asynchronous, in remote learning?
So our classes are all synchronous. So we do it live on. We are using Zoom, and we're using GoToMeeting.com.
Mm-hmm. And how do you structure those meetings? I know student engagement is one of the reasons that they focus on using these high impact practices, right? The more engagement, like these students creating the videos, that's huge. How in a typical class, how do you build in student engagement?
So in a typical class, Moodle has been really helpful. So my course is there in the Moodle shell, and there what we do is, we put the structure in. We just watch this video. So it's like a team-based learning activity where basically we're trying to move into that model. So I've just started doing that. So we will put a video along with some papers, which students will be required to, read before they come to class. And there will be points associated in future. So next semester, I'm going to associate points with that. So they read and they come prepared. And I'll be using the breakout room function, which is a great function of on
Yes,
these.
it is.
And then we will give the opportunity to our students to discuss those questions from that information that they read a night before or a week before.
Mm-hmm.
And then structure the whole, say for example, a case of a disease. And they can discuss it and they can present it. So that's a team-based learning that we are trying to move on. And our new dean has a vision of, taking us over there. And it's a great model.
And how do the students like that shift in focus to team-based learning?
So that's a really good question. So initially there was a little inhibition for everybody, like faculty also was also scared of how to do this, right?
Yeah.
But as we started this new way of life, staying at a distance and talking to each other, it took a little, what do you say, like hard in the beginning, but it
Right.
became smooth, as we went along, it went smooth. And now we have workshops online, we have activities online, we have exams online, breakout rooms, proctoring online. So students are actually now enjoying it. And you know what? Students know more than us, the features that we use sometimes. They are more savvy. They are Generation Z and Generation, so they are more savvy actually. So initially there was a little, how will they do that? But now they're great. And they tell me sometimes, okay, Dr. Faridi, try this. I'm like, wow, that's great. So, that's great.
And are you finding that they are learning as much or more in this approach?
I believe this is a good approach. Sometimes I do feel that there is, because I am recording all the lectures and I'm recording all the activities, so some students feel that, okay, it's available, I can always go later on. So that becomes, quite a big thing to finish in the end. So that's, pile up of the backlog.
Yeah.
But we are making classes mandatory, and we're also taking like attendance also. Slowly, gradually, we're moving that side. I don't want to put a lot of restrictions now. But yeah, for sure, students are, enjoying it, and we are moving in the right direction, I think.
And you feel that that they're learning the content that you want them to learn.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
They're learning and they're enjoying.
That backup could happen in face-to-face as well as online, I suppose, as well, right?
Yes, exactly.
Good,
Yes.
good. You also mentioned that there were a couple of you that took this training together. That sounds like a really important factor to have colleagues that, kind of speak the same language in terms of the kinds of practices that you're talking about. How many of you in the College of Pharmacy did take the training, and do you have you like continued to have dialogue with each other about how the implementation is going?
Yeah, so far I know we are about 5 to 6 of us who took, the course with the
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, 5 to 6, and we are also, collaborating each other of how to, how to add more things and how to, what are you practicing? How could I imbibe, things from what he's doing in his class, things.
Right.
So, doing it in coordination. So,
Ah, yeah, that would seem really important because, as you say, some of these changes are radically different than what had been done before. So having that collegiality and a common sharing sounds really good. So that sounds great. Any other particular strategies or high impact practices come to mind that you might want to mention before we have to wrap it up?
yeah, uh,
Zooming. Go ahead.
Sure. So some of the other, strategies I also used was the gaming tools. So this is a tool called Kahoot, which a lot of schools are using now. So me and one of my colleagues, we wanted to try this out in a more, in a pharmacy world, pharmacy education world,
Yes.
how we can enjoy, our students. So that's a great tool that we use for student engagement. So we make questions on that platform, and we, it's like Clicker, the way Clicker used to work, but it's more like online. So we did a little student engagement, activity using this Kahoot platform, and we also published an abstract in another journal, and it's
Oh,
quite,
wow.
yeah.
Well, for people who don't know what Kahoot or Clicker is, can you explain a little bit more about how they work?
So the idea is gamification. What happens is, traditionally teaching is like one way we teach, and then students hear. Some of them are, attentive, some may not be. So the idea here is, to teach, and then in between, say for example, in 50 minutes, in a 50 minutes class, I teach 5 concepts, 10 minutes each, right? So after every 10 minutes, I will be asking, about 5 questions from the first concept. So I'll stop, take a pause, and I'll give them a link, and then the clicker would go on, a timer would go on, and students will start hitting their, choices A, B, C, D, and soon you'll see a graph popping up on the screen. So they'll be excited to do that. Team A, you can do that in a team form, for example, team A, team B, team C, or individual. So that,
Mhm.
there's a reward. You'll see, person X winning. So you'll be like, oh my, this is winning, so I'll do more. So things like that, So it keeps
Yes,
you
yes.
engaging. So that's the whole idea.
That sounds like a really good one. And yeah, they can put right on their phone the
Yeah.
answer or do you put the Kahoot into the Zoom platform or are they accessing it
So
on their
I give
phone?
the Kahoot link on the phone, or they can use it on the
Okay,
computer as well. And I can just, share my screen as the graph pops up.
got it. So they're on their individual phones typing in their
Exactly.
answer and you get this bar graph or
Popping up,
something on
exactly.
the screen that they can see.
So yeah, me and
Yeah, yeah.
another,
Well,
faculty
that's
in our department, Dr. Ofori, we tried this and we published it, and it was good. It was student like it. So that's something more, we added on.
yeah, yes, yes. So yeah, and you said, it builds in that engagement, but also a little bit of fun and
Exactly.
competition, and what, as you said, also breaks up a 50-minute lecture
Yeah,
as well. So
exactly. So I teach
great.
neurophysiology. Part of learning is the human brain is, designed to learn by seeing, first. So as we grow up as a child, we see and learn things. Then we hear and learn things. Reading is a very high ability, right? So that's why, making
Yes.
videos are helping them see those animations so that recall, okay, this is what is happening in the, so usually we read a book and you understand, but if you can see the, elements moving together, you tend to remember it more. That's what we discovered. So that's why
Yes.
our videos are kind of helping us. And the idea with this gamification, apps like Kahoot, and there are a couple of other, apps as well. When you add a little challenge to, students, it becomes a game, and everyone likes to play a game, rather than sitting in a class. So that's the
Sure.
whole idea, to add a little spice, to the class.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, so yeah, sounds like you've done a number of things, and you said you've really tried to incorporate them across many different classes this fall.
Yes.
And I like the way you said
Yes.
that having done the Gardner Institute, the semester seemed a little bit more seamless. And what did you mean by seamless? Smooth, or what did you mean by the semester seemed to
So
go a little more seamless?
seamless, I would say, I would describe, because initially I was a little worried about, okay, I will do the class. How will I do the assessment? How will I engage the students? How will the students be attentive? So all those elements were not connecting somehow in my brain before beginning all this. In the Gardner Institute class, with the experienced people I met over there, my colleagues in the Gardner Institute, they answered the question, and I was like, wow, I can connect this with this, and the whole thing became, seamless. So that's what I mean. Seamless is that, all the elements, the assessment part, the delivery of lecture part, the student engagement part, the little quiz part, the Moodle, standing out part. So all this became like connected after getting the Gardner Institute, ideas from there. So that's
Beautiful. Well, what a nice way to say it. Kind of things kind of came together,
right.
got integrated a little better,
Absolutely.
or something, and it sounded like remote teaching wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be this
Absolutely,
fall.
absolutely. That's exactly it.
And in fact, it sounds like you were having a lot of fun there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, as we kind of wrap up this interview, do you have any recommendations for fellow faculty members who are interested in dipping their toe a little bit more into the high impact online teaching practices? Any suggestions or recommendations for fellow faculty members?
I would highly recommend, a lot of our faculty members are already teaching online, but it's a great idea to have more, to learn more, So what did I learn? I mean, I met people who were really doing it before. I met, faculty members who were from different, backgrounds like history, geography, and I picked up things from there, which made my course look better. That's what I believe, and my students say that. So I have you know, proof of that. So I recommend, taking faculty members, if they take this course, they will definitely benefit because they will get perspective of other fields, the elements which one may not have thought of, elements would definitely help. And there are technology and, of course, expertise of teaching and technology. If you blend it all together, something new will come up. So I would highly recommend this, this course. This was a great.
Well, and just by doing this video, you're helping other people by hearing your experience, hearing some of the things that you took away that you could, immediately infuse into your pharmacy courses. And it sounds like you enjoyed it, and sounds like you're going to continue with many of the practices that you tried this semester.
Absolutely, I'm enjoying it, and I'll definitely like to keep, improving on it, and look for more opportunities where I can learn more. And this was a great opportunity. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Growing and learning, and us as well as our students. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate your sharing your experiences and getting into the details about how you applied those practices this semester. So thank you again for your time and your expertise. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Dr. Lynch. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Dr. Lynch.